The sun scorched the Apulian plain on August 2nd, 216 BC, a day that would become infamous. Dust and tension filled the air as two massive armies faced off. This was Cannae, a name forever linked to tactical genius and slaughter. Rome, the Mediterranean's rising power, faced its greatest threat. For the Republic, this was a battle for survival. Their legions, assembled in unprecedented numbers, brimmed with confidence. But across the field stood Hannibal Barca, Carthage's legendary general. Outnumbered and deep in enemy territory, Hannibal was undaunted. He had crossed the Alps, outwitted Roman generals, and inspired fierce loyalty in his diverse army. Rome, stung by earlier defeats, had raised a colossal force to crush it. The consuls, Varro and Paulus, shared command. Varro, eager for battle, convinced of Roman superiority. The Romans believed their numbers and discipline would guarantee victory. But Hannibal saw opportunity where others saw peril. The fate of Rome, its traditions, and its future hung in the balance. Every soldier sensed that the outcome here would shape history. The ground trembled with anticipation. Rome was about to learn a brutal lesson in the art of war, and Hannibal was ready to deliver it. Rome and Carthage, two titans of the ancient world, were locked in a struggle for supremacy. Carthage, a wealthy maritime empire, sought to reclaim its lost glory. Rome, a land power, was determined to expand its dominance. Their ambitions collided, igniting the Second Punic War. Into this conflict stepped Hannibal Barca, son of Hamilcar, sworn enemy of Rome. Trained from youth, Hannibal led his army from Iberia, over the Alps and into Italy, a feat that stunned the world. His soldiers, drawn from many cultures, were fiercely loyal. Hannibal's campaign in Italy had been a string of brilliant victories. He crushed Roman armies at Trebia and Lake Trasimene, using terrain and surprise to devastating effect. To the Romans, Hannibal seemed almost supernatural in his ability to anticipate their moves. Rome was shaken, desperate to stop him. They believed Cannae would be their chance to end his threat. But Hannibal was ready for their challenge. The stage was set for a confrontation that would define the age. Two civilizations, two destinies, and one master tactician. The world watched as they prepared for the clash at Cannae. Hannibal chose the battlefield near Cannae with care. The open plain, bordered by the Aufidus River, seemed to favor Rome's legions. But Hannibal saw an opportunity for deception. He arranged his smaller army in a convex crescent, placing his weaker Gauls and Iberians at the center. His elite African infantry waited on the flanks, hidden from direct view. Superior Carthaginian cavalry held the wings, ready to strike. Hannibal anticipated the Romans' aggressive tactics. He wanted them to attack his center, believing it would collapse. As the Romans pressed forward, his center would fall back, drawing them in. The real trap, his flanks and cavalry would close around the advancing Romans. Hannibal was orchestrating a deadly symphony, counting on Roman predictability. The stage was set for a masterstroke of battlefield deception. On the day of battle, Consul Varro commanded the Romans to form deep, narrow columns, aiming to smash through Hannibal's center. Thousands of legionaries surged forward, targeting the bulging Carthaginian line. The clash was immense. Hannibal's center began a controlled retreat. Romans, sensing victory, pressed harder, plunging deeper into the formation. The Carthaginian center bowed inward, drawing the Romans into a narrowing pocket. Roman officers urged their men on, blind to the danger. The legions became tightly packed, losing cohesion and maneuverability. Their flanks grew exposed as they advanced. Hannibal watched as the Romans marched willingly into his trap. The jaws of the ambush, his elite African infantry, remained poised on the wings. The Romans, focused on the retreating enemy, failed to see the encirclement forming. Their momentum, once an asset, now became a fatal weakness. The trap was about to snap shut. As Roman infantry pressed forward, Hannibal's cavalry struck. Carthaginian horsemen shattered the Roman cavalry, then swept behind the Roman lines. With the Roman horse routed, Hannibal's cavalry sealed the rear escape. At that moment, his elite African infantry pivoted inward, attacking the Roman flanks. The trap closed with terrifying precision. Romans, packed tightly, were surrounded on all sides, front, flanks, and rear. Panic erupted, discipline collapsed. There was no room to fight or flee. The Carthaginians, with space to maneuver, cut down the trapped legions. Consul Paulus fell in the chaos. Varro escaped with a handful. Tens of thousands of Rome's finest perished. Hannibal's double envelopment was complete, a masterpiece of tactical brilliance. Cannae became the benchmark for battlefield annihilation. Rome's greatest army was destroyed in a single brutal day. The aftermath of Cannae was catastrophic for Rome. Up to 70,000 Romans lay dead. Panic gripped the city. Hannibal, victorious, did not march on Rome, his reasons still debated. He hoped Rome's allies would defect, but the Republic's core held firm. Rome refused to surrender, raising new legions from every class. They adopted the Fabian strategy, avoiding direct battle and wearing Hannibal down. Cannae became immortal in military history. Hannibal's double envelopment is still studied as the pinnacle of battlefield tactics. Generals through the ages have sought to replicate its brilliance. The battle revealed the dangers of overconfidence and the power of deception. Hannibal's genius ensured his name would echo through history. The dust of Cannae settled, but its lessons endure. The savage art of war was forever changed on that blood-soaked plain.